5 minutes after 11 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. The analog clock in the studio is still wrong, Robin. The what do you call it? Analog.
Even the digital ones on the table here are wrong.
The computers, they all did it on their own.
That's right.
And the New England Journal of Medicine says that they have published the results of a study that showed that the first few days after we lose an hour of sleep, there are certain increases in the decline of our health. For example, there are more car accidents, there are more heart attacks. Do you believe any of this stuff? There's sluggishness, there's disruption in sleep for the next few days. And so we're going to talk now to our good friend David Foreman. Because he's the herbal pharmacist, or as they say in England, the herbal pharmacist.
Yes, for sure.
David, how you doing?
I have jet lag, man, and then you throw another hour into this sucker. It's not fun, man.
Where are you?
I'm home. I'm in Florida, but I was in California for 6 nights, and so I adjusted to the time change. I flew home last night, and when my alarm went off this morning, my body was going, wait, dude, this is like 4 hours. This is 4. It's not just normally 3. Why I chose to fly back from California the night
really
of all this.
Really?
Yeah, it's like, and I couldn't figure out why I was feeling like really not so good this morning. And then I was like, oh, yeah.
That's the reason.
That's why your clocks are all wrong in the house. There we go.
So let's start there. Is there such a thing as a supplement that can alleviate sluggishness?
Well, sluggishness, yeah, but like you were just talking about the health stuff from the time change,
right?
That's basically a time change induced jet lag. That is what it is.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, and so yes, the answer to that question is melatonin. Melatonin. You take it before you go to bed, maybe 20 minutes before, and it will help mitigate and help you adjust to the time change much quicker. In this case, it's as if we had anybody that's living on the East Coast. It's as if you were living in the Central Time Zone and you came back home to Florida.
What is melatonin?
And so,
what is melatonin?
Melatonin is a naturally occurring hormone produced by the brain or in an area of the brain that helps regulate sleep, and it helps regulate your circadian rhythm.
So what does tonin mean?
There you go.
What does tonin mean? And what does noma mean?
No, that's actually it's mela. No, hey, look, man. Look, Larry.
I mean,
Larry.
We got
Larry. I got jet lag, right?
We got two words.
Don't start messing with me.
I'm the root of words. If you the word mela, the first part mela, right?
I don't know, man. You know what? I didn't do good in Latin, so don't even.
Isn't there a cancer?
I had a year of Latin and I barely got out of that. So
but isn't there a cancer? Melanoma? Isn't that a cancer?
Yeah.
So melatonin is good, but melanoma is bad.
Correct.
So tonin.
Oh my God, this is really going a whole different direction, man.
All right,
Robin, you know Larry. Larry. He's probably sitting there going, "Oh, sweet, I got Foreman."
No. Wait a minute. I want to learn. I'm always waiting.
Loved you.
No, I'm always on. I'm always
people.
on the position of I want to learn more, and so I just don't want to go to the pharmacy and say, "Do you have any melanoma?" Because David Foreman said if I take some melanoma, I'll get rid of the sluggishness.
I said melatonin. Melatonin.
Okay, go ahead.
Tonin.
So you can buy a hormone that your brain makes in the drugstore?
Yeah, I mean that's one of the areas that it's made, but yeah, you can. It's definitely. By the way, I am on Wiktionary, and I don't even see the definition. It's Hindu religious festival is what Mela is.
Oh my gosh!
Is that all the colorful powder that they're showing? You throw colored powder on it?
I don't know, man. I don't know. But that's what I just found. I'm just saying. Look, dude. While you're talking, I'm Googling. That's all I can say.
Look, dude.
You can tell I was in California. You can tell I was in California for a week, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Look, dude. I just like that. Look, dude. All right.
Right.
So everything's okay with you? How's the family? Everything good?
Yeah, we're great. I love it. This is what we always do. We have fun, and then we have like 2 minutes to discuss my topic.
What is your topic? Is it white bean powder?
No. Actually, this one's actually a pretty serious one, and actually, we covered one of the things in my. It's how we really tend in the United States to accidentally get addicted to prescription medications.
Oh yeah,
and sleep is one of those areas. Pain's probably the biggest one, I think, that people fall quickly and hard. And probably the most famous example of addiction to painkillers. One came out of radio, Mr. Limbaugh.
Right.
And the other was Mr. Favre out of football. And they both became addicted to hydrocodone, which is, pretty powerful pain reliever. And, there are some natural things. Granted, no, they're not like narcotics unless you're getting into the illegal herbal things that might help with pain. But, that's a big category. And like for me, I think you guys remember years ago, I was running those like half and full marathons for a nonprofit, and I hurt my knee, and I now religiously feel like I have to use something called two things. I use turmeric, which I know we've talked about before. So Larry, I know you're an herb guy, I know, and the other one is Celadrin. And so are they replacements for narcotics? No, but for people like me that had an injury, or you constantly have a little bit of discomfort, for me going natural is just enough so that I didn't have to go down that other path, which can be, very addictive. Sleep, same thing. A lot of people just take Ambien and stuff like that for sleep, and then don't realize that, maybe you just need something a little, like a little milder than that you can buy, like valerian root, melatonin, those kinds of things. Right. But we often just jump in with both feet and go, and then you don't realize they're addictive because, hey, your doctor prescribed it. But it does happen.
Yeah, but you got over the counter too. That ZQL. I see those commercials on TV all the time. If you're having trouble sleeping, go to your drugstore and buy an over the counter thing, and it'll help you go to sleep. And that could be just as.
Well, you see what ends up happening is, like, people start out on over the counter things, and they think because you can buy it without a prescription that it's got to be safe. And so it often gets overused. People don't normally follow the recommended labeling instructions. So, if they're like my dad, who actually, civil engineer, master's in civil engineering, my dad, even as smart as he is, he always thinks if one is good, two is better.
Oh, there you go. I do that.
My son, he had shoulder issues years ago from pitching, and, I didn't realize he was taking like a handful of ibuprofen at a time. And, because, the 2 or 3 didn't work. And actually with him, I used Celadrin topically on his shoulder after he pitched, and it helped phenomenally. But, we start out doing those OTC things like you just mentioned, Robin, and then, that's really not quite cutting it anymore. Then you go to the doctor and you say, hey, I've been taking this. That doesn't work. So then they go, well, if that's not working, well, try a couple of these narcotics, or try this, addictive sleep medicine, or this, things for anxiety are addictive as well. And so, my thing is, hey, if we can do it naturally and cut it off at the pass, then, there's a good chance you won't need to get to that point. And, but yeah, just because it's over the counter doesn't mean it's safe. Just because your doctor prescribed it doesn't mean it's safe for long-term use. And that's probably the biggest complaint I have as a pharmacist, not as the herbal pharmacist in this case, but as a pharmacist that I was/am, is that I think too many times these things are so accessible, too easily prescribed, and people innocently become addictive, and that's like the big issue I have.
Oh, really? So is there anything natural that is a good painkiller?
Well, like I just mentioned, like topically, Celadrin is the name of the ingredient. My last tube.
Okay,
Celadrin.
That's topical. That you rub that on it.
Yeah, you do. And my last one, I bought it on the internet through Costco. Like that's how I got it. I take an oral form I buy at my local health food store. And is it as strong as those narcotics? No, I don't want people to think that way. You're not just going to stop if you're already on those meds. You're not just going to stop that and go natural. It doesn't work that way, especially in these categories.
Let me ask you this: does Vicks Vapor Rub do anything? Like when you have a cold and what does it actually do? Because this says I just looked up Celadrin and it says menthol. Isn't that what it says on the Vicks jar? Menthol?
Sometimes they'll put a little bit of menthol in that helps with the It helps those things penetrate. Some people like that menthol smell. There's actually a medicinal component in menthol, believe it or not. In the case of like the vapor rub, like you're talking about, yeah, it actually can help relax the bronchioles, which are the main tubes that go down into your lungs. And a lot of times when we cough, those get inflamed and they tighten up, and the tighter they get, it inhibits or blocks your breathing even more, so you cough more. And so yeah, actually it can do something. And that menthol smell is sort of like a natural decongestant, so it can help open your sinus passages up as well. The problem I have with it is I just can't stand the smell, but it does work.
Right.
And the second part is it really doesn't last that long. Usually anything topical may last for like 3 to 6 hours. And, if you're laying down to go to bed, you want to sleep more than 3 to 6 hours, but it's really good to help you at least get to sleep and maybe stay asleep. So, yeah, I think it's legit.
What if, okay, let me ask you another question, or similar question. If something is natural and it's available in a pharmacy, like in a bottle, like this stuff I'm looking at online, Celadrin, is it also available in a plant? I mean, could I just go out and cut down a tree and rub it on myself?
Well,
like they say with that, what's that stuff? The green,
green tea?
Not algae.
Oh.
What is that thing?
Aloe.
Aloe. Yeah.
You get the plant.
In some cases that would be true. In a lot of cases nowadays, no, it's not, because like in the example you just gave, aloe topically, yeah, sure, it's straight out the way it is. But a lot of things nowadays are more concentrated extracts, so that you don't have to use as much, take as much, apply as much. And so in the case of Celadrin, no, you can't do that. In the case of in the case of like valerian actually, it was funny. My ex-in-laws, they actually had an herb growing in their fields in Pennsylvania called feverfew. Feverfew is used for like headaches and things like that.
Yeah.
And
Did it work?
It does. Yeah, it did. You could literally. I remember my father-in-law telling me that, his grandfather taught him to pull a few leaves of the valerian, I'm not valerian, feverfew, as you walk by, and they'd suck on it to help with their headaches. And I'm like, that is so freaking cool. I mean, who does that, right?
What are they, Amish? Are they Amish? What
They were like a spin-off of Amish. They weren't nearly as conservative as the Amish were, but yeah, along the lines of that, yeah, Pennsylvania Dutch.
Right.
But if you were going to use that same plant for migraines, you actually literally had to get the concentrated version. So in some cases, Larry, yeah, you can do that. In a lot of cases nowadays, no.
Like when you were hanging out with them, were you uncomfortable? I'd feel.
Oh no, not.
Oh really?
No, actually, in honesty, I loved it because they really were true and genuine people.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes sometimes that conservative part. I mean, they're ultra conservative. Bothered me because if I wanted to have a beer, they're like, no, you can't do that here.
Oh, really?
So,
did they say it to you before you popped the thing open or after?
Well, you kind of knew before you got there.
Okay.
You could always do. No, yeah. So out of respect, that's the other thing. I think in their case, I just respected them and their beliefs enough that I was willing to.
But you hear a lot of things from like Native Americans. Robert and I went to a thing here in Ocala, and there was a Native American guy there.
DeBerry.
Yes, that was his name. And he said if you have a toothache, you chew on this leaf. And so he gave me the leaf to chew on, even though I didn't have a toothache. And it kind of gave me a numb feeling. It was I don't know what it was. I don't know what it was.
So basically, you're saying I could just throw something wild and crazy at you, and you're just going to try it anyway? Is that what I hear you saying?
Well, we trusted them.
Well, if you got feathers in your hair, I might.
I can tell you right now, my hair's not long enough for that. It's just not happening.
You also addressed the issue of anxiety, and that seems to be happening more and more these days from little children on up.
Yeah, anxiety is one of those things you just can't run away from. We all either have chronic anxiety because just the way life can be at different times, or there's those times where like I had a kind of a stressful situation happen when I was in California during this convention, and I'm still a little bit edgy about it, but
what happened?
So natural. We're not going to get into that right now, Larry. I mean, I usually share pretty much anything, but in this case, I'm going to hold on to it.
Okay.
But so the thing is that, I mean, we all have anxiety, and there are things that they prescribe, like Xanax, or in the old days, Mother's Little Helper was Valium. The drugs they prescribe. But here's the thing. And or there's supplements like I like passion flower. That's really good. But none of those things are going to get rid of what's going on in your life. None of those things are going to get rid of what's going on in your in your head or in between your ears. So they definitely help your body at least feel better. Maybe take your mind off of it a little bit.
That's why people listen to us. But at the end of the day.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, that's why I listen to you guys when I can. So there you go. I like listening to you guys always make me laugh. And that's good.
That's our job. Yeah. I know.
I don't know about that.
No, it frustrates the guests. Like it's frustrating you right now. But if you were listening to somebody else that we were talking to, even if it was your alter ego, you'd get a kick out of it. But it's you.
No, I'm digging it. No, it's not bothering me at all, man. Come on, I roll with the punches with you guys. You know what? When I see I'm on your show, with Robin and Larry, or Larry and Robin. I don't know what order you guys put it in, but I always smile. I'm like, all right, I know that the first 5 minutes is going to be crazy in a good way, and we're going to carry that all the way through because you know what? Health, David, in my opinion, health doesn't have to be boring.
David, let me tell you the order of our names. It's Robin and the Giant. That's the name. Robin?
And actually, considering the fact that I do have a picture with you guys in front of the logo, and you are a giant. I look like I'm your little kid or something.
Just Google Robin and the Giant and see if we come up. Just Google it, Robin and the Giant. You got your Google. You got your Google machine.
Man. I closed my browser, man. You kidding me?
Well, we got to take a break. Let me take a break, and we'll be right back. David, don't go away, David. David Foreman is with us.
Okay, I'm here.
The Herbal Pharmacist. By the way, if you have any questions about herbal things, this is a good time to call. David would love to answer your questions. He's going to look up Robin and the Giant right now, Robin. We'll be right back.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. On this Monday, plenty of clouds along with a couple of showers and a heavier thunderstorm in places with highs mainly in the 70s. For Monday night, cloudy with rain and a thunderstorm early, and remaining mostly cloudy late with lows in the 50s to near 60. For Tuesday, clouds breaking for some sunshine. A breezy, somewhat cooler day with a high in the mid-60s in the northern part of the zone to the low and mid-70s in the south. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
Dan, did you know that the runway at Ocala's airport is nearly 8,000 feet long?
Why, no, Brad. I did not. Please, tell me more about said runway.
Seriously, it's a big airport.
Yeah, I kind of knew that. So what's your point?
Well, just that most people don't even realize there's an airport, much less one that's big enough for Air Force One to land.
And
that Ocala Aviation is based at Ocala International Airport.
So why are you telling me?
So that you can help me get the word out that Ocala Aviation has a fleet of airplanes, and it's here for them to learn to fly.
And how do you propose we get said message across to so many people at once?
We should put an ad on a good radio station. But yours will do.
Very funny. Well, what do you want to say?
That we offer private, instrument, and even commercial training. All right here in Ocala. They don't even have to go anywhere else. They can do it all right here.
Nope, never work.
Well, then give them the number to call with any questions.
I can't even remember your number.
Yes, you do. 861-7484. How hard is that?
Okay, I'll call you next week and we'll get it started.
Can you remember the number this time?
Yes, 861-7484.
Call me.
The very best in quality is Captain Ts Upholstery.
Hey, this is Dan. Let me ask you a few questions. Does your boat look better with the cover on? Has your car's interior seen its better days? Stop using a towel to cover up those rips in the golf cart. Isn't it about time you had it restored to better than new with a custom upholstery from Captain T? Captain Ts Upholstery has been right here in Ocala for nearly 20 years, so they know how to make your ride one of a kind. Whether you want to take that classic ride back to a factory look or put your favorite sports team front and center, Captain Ts Upholstery is who to call. 352-369-1810. That's 352-369-1810. or stop by their location, 5030 South Pine Avenue in Ocala, just past the drive-in. And of course, don't forget to visit them on the web, CaptainTUpholstery.com.
The very best in quality is Captain T's Upholstery.
If you or a loved one is suffering with knee, shoulder, neck or back pain, plantar fasciitis, peripheral neuropathy, and even tennis elbow, and would like to learn about how there are treatments that may benefit you, go to drwanyourdan.com, then listen in on the first and third Thursday at 10 a.m. and hear from health professionals doing these treatments and patients who have benefited from them. First and third Thursdays, 10 a.m. Next Generation MD, right here on The Source.
All right, 25 minutes after 11 o'clock. Gosh, time flies when you're having fun. David Foreman is on the phone. I Googled David Foreman. He was born in 1947. He's an American environmentalist, co-founder of the radical environmental movement, Earth First. And
Yeah, you got the wrong one, man. I actually had to collect. I was doing something when I lived in Virginia. It was like at like one of like the county clerk's office or whatever, and the woman's like, David Foreman. I'm like, yeah. She goes, you owe us a lot of money. And I'm like, excuse me? and she goes, yeah, you're David Foreman. You're you're on the school board, right? And I'm like, nope, not me. Nor would I.
No.
And I was like, damn. I'm like, there's really more than one David Foreman out there. I mean, I know my parents shattered the mold because they didn't want any more of me. But I just thought, the name I thought was pretty catchy. And by the way, Robin and the Giant. Number one spot. Literally type it in. Number one spot in my Google search. Number one. Not like nice. I didn't have to scroll. I did not have to scroll and look. It's there.
Oh, I see it. Yeah. Oh,
that's wonderful.
It says something.
We don't even pay for that.
David, somebody texted me and asked me to ask you this: Is aspirin considered an herbal thing?
No.
No.
A lot of people have heard of like white willow bark, and they say white willow bark is aspirin, and no, it's not. There's a component in white willow that is similar in chemical structure, but not the same. But yeah, I would not consider that a natural substance at all.
So what is the most common the herb that people use that is not accurate portrayed? Like, in other words, if somebody says ginkgo biloba or something like that, I don't know if that's natural or not. But you always hear that. You always hear that.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta say, in honesty, like all honesty, I'm on an advisory board, like scientific advisory board for a relatively new organization called Organic and Natural Health Association, and part of what they were started, or why they started, was this whole, like, kind of really to help people even work with the government on defining really organic and natural. And I really struggle with that word natural. I see stuff that I get so ticked off with a capital P. I mean, that is claiming to be natural. As a matter of fact, I recently, when I flew out to California on my flight, they had these, like, they called them premium snacks, and I was hungry, so I got a bag, and it was like the veggie chips or something like that. And the number, so hold on, the number one and number two ingredients were potatoes. And I'm like, I'm like, you little suckers. I mean, granted, it had like spinach powder in there later on, but the number one and number two ingredients, and of course, were potato and potato starch. And I'm like, wait a minute, this is like deceptively evil, Or one of my other favorites is, and I know you guys are okay if I do this, Truvia. Which is supposed to be the stevia natural zero-calorie sweetener, right? Right. Well, it says the number one ingredient in it is not stevia. It's like the third ingredient.
That's crazy.
Like, I think they're using, like, I forget what they're using, but I mean. Oh, good. What?
We got the clock going. I'm not paying attention.
All right. Goodbye.
Herbalpharmacist.com. Herbalpharmacist.com.
Right, love you guys.
Thank you, David. Thank you. We always like having you. We'll be right back.
Bye.
It's WOCA Ocala.
Fox News Radio, I'm Pat O'Neill. How much it will cost, how much coverage it will offer. The nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office to issue its report today on the GOP health care plan.
If these numbers come out favorably, that will go a long way to making the case that the president and Republicans are putting forward to the American people that we need to repeal and replace Obamacare. But if the numbers come out badly, that is going to give the Democrats a lot of ammunition to criticize the efforts to repeal